Hey everybody, welcome to Enliven Wellness! And I'm so excited to be here on this Saturday afternoon with you all. It's kind of cold but sunny, thank God, day here in Colorado. And anyway, I wanted to say thank you so much for all my subscribers and my loyal peeps out there. We're building a really cool community. And if you're new to this channel, join. I'm really trying to make this a super healing channel. And positive but real. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share these vids. It helps me so much. It helps me be able to actually do these videos for you guys. So anyway, I'm going to do something a little bit different today, and some of my stories might be a little bit TMI, but I'm just going to tell you the real honest truth. I'm going to tell you about why I don't eat fermented foods and why you maybe shouldn't either. So, I know it's going against the common grain or common sauerkraut. I don't know. Anyway, so I'll tell you a little story. So about 2 years ago, I was like, I've heard that raw sauerkraut's good for you, fermented foods and all this stuff, and yeah, I think I'll give it a try. So I went and I got some raw sauerkraut. And I took, a tablespoon of it, and I was like, oh my God. I had to, sprint to the bathroom with this, insane diarrhea. And I was like, whoa, all right, that was intense. Okay. And so, I was like, maybe it's just die-off. I know that I need to, heal my gut. And, maybe it's just the Herxheimer reaction. And, okay, I'll just keep eating it. And, I kid you not, for, 2 weeks, I was having, maybe just a tablespoon or two a day. Not a lot. And I was a runner at the time, and I was on the treadmills and at the gym, and I couldn't make it through a 5-mile run without going to the bathroom every mile. It was insane how much I was going to the bathroom. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even make it to the toilet in the morning. It was crazy. And I was like, maybe, and after a month of this happening, I was like, maybe something's up, because it's been a month and this has been insane. And so, and then I started getting some symptoms like brain fog after I would eat it. And I was like, maybe it's just this Herxheimer reaction, and I didn't know as much as I know now, whatever. And, then I started talking to my dad, and he was like, I never did well with raw sauerkraut either. And his grandfather was German and basically force fed it to him on the regular. And then he's like, after my grandfather died, my digestive systems got a lot better because I wasn't eating as much raw sauerkraut. And I just cracked up at that. But anyway, and looking back on my life, I, when I was first introduced to kombucha, I remember the first time I drank it, I got severely bloated, and I was and I just kept, forcing myself to drink it because I thought it was good for me. Which it could be. It can be for a lot of people. But so, flash forward to January of this year, and my ex-boyfriend and I were like, this raw sauerkraut's just making us feel terrible. What's going on? And we took it out of our diet, and we were like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And I was like, I wonder if there's probiotic resistance or something. And so I started delving more and more into the research, and I came across something called histamine intolerance, which I'll make a whole other video about that later. But essentially, if you have a compromised gut microbiome, which I have had for a long time because of my past history, and other things like leaky gut, you can have a rise in histamine in your body. And then when you eat fermented foods, your body's on the attack, and you just can't handle it because fermented foods are what is known as a high histamine food. Okay, so fermented foods are a high histamine food, especially the ones that you find on the grocery shelves. So this isn't to say that all fermented foods are bad or that fermented foods are bad, but here's the problem. Is that when you go out and buy sauerkraut or, kimchi, you don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf, okay? you also don't know what strains they have used to ferment these cultures. This is where we're going to get into some kind of nerdy science. So in terms of histamine intolerance, you have a couple of different bacterial like probiotic strains. Okay, you have histamine producing probiotics, you have histamine neutral probiotics, and then you have histamine degrading probiotics. And you can Google these lists out there, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. So a couple of examples of the histamine increasing probiotics. So these are the things that, like, if you have a histamine problem, they're just going to make the histamine worse. And those are things like Lactobacillus casei, Lactobacillus reuteri, and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. And a lot of these are found in, you guessed it, conventionally fermented foods, like sauerkraut, like all yogurts, like kefir, I mean, like, you name it, okay? Unless you have fermented it with your own starter culture, that's a histamine degrading or neutral strain, you're probably getting histamine increasing strains, which is no good. All right, that can be, you know, like brain fog and itchiness, and your heart will start racing, and you can get, you know, anxiety. I mean, there's weight gain, you know, I mean, it's crazy what happens when I eat fermented foods. Like, I just retain weight. It's nuts. You also have the histamine neutral strains, so now histamine neutral, and those are things like Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus rhamnosus. So those are a couple of probiotic strains that are considered histamine neutral. And then you also have the histamine degrading bacteria. And those are things like Bifidobacterium infantis, Bifidobacterium longum, and Bifidobacterium, I've seen other ones about like Brevi, but I'm not quite sure. So there's differing opinions on that one. You can also take in Lactobacillus plantarum. Lactobacillus plantarum has actually been described as like the Chuck Norris of probiotics, so it's kind of like a badass. But also soil-based probiotics. Now, soil-based probiotics are the probiotics that I personally do really, really well with. Products like Prescript Assist and other soil-based probiotics I rock with. So, you know, basically what it comes down to is, like, even though everyone's like, you know, eat the fermented foods to heal your gut, if it's not working for you, stop. Just stop. Like, really, I mean, it's like we think like, oh, it's this healthy food for me and I should, you know, just keep trying. But the more you look into it, like, it might not be for you. You know, people are like talking about the gut microbiome left and right, but the reality, you guys, is that this is really new research. The gut microbiome is not very well understood. That's just the reality. We're just learning about it. Everyone has a different terrain. Everyone has, you know, the strains that work better for them and the strains that don't, you know, and what I've learned is, like, I don't do well with fermented foods at this time in my life, and I'm not going to force myself to frickin' eat them. I am going to try something called Amasi, which is recommended by Dave Asprey. I'm a big follower of Dave Asprey, the Bulletproof guy, because he's a fellow moldy, just so you guys know. Dave Asprey is super sensitive to mold, just like me and a lot of you out there. And so I really follow his advice, and he recommended something called Amasi, and I've ordered that, and so I'm going to try it this week, and I'll let you know how that goes. But I definitely do well with the soil-based probiotics, and I've really upped my dosage because I know I need to repopulate my gut, and I'm taking advantage after this 4-day water fast that I just did to do that. So I'm like repopulating with good stuff, and for me, that's the soil-based probiotics. I don't do well with fermented food, so I'm not going to freaking eat it. Like, you know, you don't know what kind of strains you're getting in the conventionally fermented foods. You just don't. It's not possible, okay? And there can be like rogue bacteria. It's just, you know, so anyway, you know, I hope that this helped you. I hope that this might answer some questions for some people out there who are like eating the raw foods and they're like, I feel like shit, but I should keep eating it because they say it's good for me. Don't. You don't have to force yourself. You know, find other strains, find other types of probiotics. Like, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, and I look forward to being here next week. As always, I offer free 15-minute consults and calls if you need to talk to somebody or you want just some quick advice. And then I also do this formally, so if you want to work with me, just get in touch with me via my email down below. And all you have to put in the subject line is say, I'm ready, and we will get you booked and scheduled and on your way to feeling super vital. And I'm trained in this. I'm getting my master's in integrative medicine, and it's just a joy. So anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you next week. See ya, bye. Oh, and when you feel like you can't, learn that you can. There's hope. You can feel better. Okay, bye.